I'm Simon Hartzell, and this is NAI Global's Diving into Commercial Real Estate.
Welcome to another episode of NAI Global's Diving into Commercial Real Estate. Today's episode is the Art of Facilities Management with my guest speaker, Gino Faciana, who is CEO of NAI Pleasant Valley and Pleasant Valley Corporation. Welcome, Gino.
Welcome, everybody. I'm from sunny Medina, Ohio, where the temperatures are not so pleasant.
Yeah, not too far off here in New York City either. So I appreciate you taking the time today to speak to us, the audience, and everybody in the world of commercial real estate. And let's jump right in, Gino, and start out. Give the audience a little bit of your background and how you got started into ultimately as prosperous and successful facilities management organization.
Sure. Thank you for the invitation for this discussion. But I was born in a very modest Italian family in the country of Medina, Ohio, in the southwest part of Medina, Ohio, and grew up always being business-minded and thoughtful. I played pretty good mean Monopoly game when I was younger, and then in 1975, 76, I met the love of my life and my co-partner, co-CEO, Barbara Faciana. And we started out as electrical contractors back in the mid-70s, and we ran that business for quite some years, still employ a lot of electricians. And about 1980 or so, we learned about the food chain, and most developers back in those days, due to the high interest rates, did not pay their bills well. So we wanted to make that change, and then shortly thereafter, we bought our first industrial property, which we still own today, that was on Plaza Valley Road, where the name was arrived from. Fast forward, we built that to a very large business, and the construction company continued to grow. And then in about 1994, we got involved building cell towers all over the regional part, the northeastern regional part of the United States. And about there shortly after 95, 96, we ran into a very large retailer. Well, it was a smaller retail that ended up being acquisitioned by a larger retail. And we went along with that group and became a very successful facility and construction management business all over the United States. And we did that till about 2008, and we are a true family business. There is my wife and I are the G1s is what we call ourselves, Generation 1, and there are 8 G2s in the business. They all started coming in the business in about 4-year increments apart from each other, and they started in 1998, and they are the officers of different sectors of our business: construction, facility management, property management, and real estate. As we continue to grow through there, they've all been in the business. Nobody's less than 10 years, and the other ones are around 20 years in the business. We are an international business. We do business in the entire United States, all 50 states, and then we also do some of the provinces of Canada. But we've continued to build on the family business.
Well, it's very interesting because you've grown an organization and had success, I would say, based on your background, and it sounds like timing, a little bit of luck. And what do you kind of attribute it to? What is do you have that secret sauce or something that you can say, hey, if you're growing an organization, this was your principles or beliefs that you follow?
So, there's definitely luck involved, being in the right places at the right time. When I spoke of that retailer, I was in the right place at the right time. and I had almost a for lease sign on my forehead, and I seen an opportunity and I took advantage of it. And I think your belief and your faith has a lot to do with it, and your commitment to be successful in everything that you do. And you never. I know everybody that I'm speaking to right now, that everybody knows that you have to pinch your business every day to make sure you're alive, to make sure your customers is excited about doing business with you, come up with new technologies, new processes, new materials to use on the buildings and properties. And you just got to earn the business every day to be successful. And that's how we've continued to grow. And I think that we've succeeded and exceeded our customers' expectations, because we still have many of our customers from back in, I won't say the 1976, but we still have many of the customers with us since 1988. I just ran into a customer the other day. It's a very large customer that everybody would know, and they rented from us from 20 years ago in Independence, and I just ran into them in the east side of Cleveland, and they said, they want us to continue to do facility management for them in about 200 facilities across the United States. So, we still carry these customer relationships. You got to earn the business every day.
Yeah. So it's all about that exceeding expectations of what the customer may be expecting, and then having the support system, which I want to get into here in a second, because I think that's an important piece of this, is how do you figure out who to surround yourself with? It seems like that's an important piece of how you've grown your organization.
Correct. Well, you can see what I did here. We have 150 employees in our headquarters in Medina, Ohio. But I surrounded myself with our family. If any of you've ever met any of we have 4 boys in the business and 4 women in the business, and half of those are our in-laws that are actually our children. But they are all hard chargers. They earn the business every day. They can sell and put deals together just as good as my wife and co-CEO has been able to do. And then we add, I'm maybe jumping ahead of myself here, but now we just added another plus to our team with Alec Pasella, the owner of NAI DOS, which we haven't got into yet. But you're right. Surrounding yourself with people that have the same ambitions and same goals in life that you do to be successful.
So and it sounds like you've I don't want to say figured out, but you've got a good roadmap in place for that succession plan. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. So, it's a very good point, and one I wanted to hit on sometime in this conversation. So, you cannot, when you're raised in the 4 walls of this facility, and all 10 of us, I mean, we have all business graduates of college, and very good experience. The boys got to work in the field to experience what it really takes, instead of sitting at a desk and learning from that perspective. But we have a board of directors that advises us. So we have a board of directors of about 15 people, and they're all very high profile, experienced in different categories. We have one gentleman that's he founded an international business that's family owned, so he brought the family and international concept. We have one gentleman that founded 10 companies, and 2 of them ended up being Fortune 500 companies, and he runs our development and international. And the one hard piece is finding a serious, experienced person that has real estate, because in this business, we can be 80 and 90 and still own real estate, and I can't bring you on my board because you're going to be my competitor. So that's been one seat that's hard to fill. We did have a person that filled that seat, but he ended up passing on us a year or so ago, and we missed that category.
So what does it take to and now we kind of have the ingredients of, at a very high level, of how you've grown your organization and surround yourself by a lot of great people. But what does it take to operate in that facilities management space? If I'm a brokerage firm or even a real estate owner listening to this podcast, what do you find is at the core to develop that business line?
So I do want to, one thing with the audience, I do want to talk about going from brokerage to to facilities, to construction, and to renewing that lease or selling that customer another new building. But so we can talk about a couple things here, and is you need to operate in the facility business world. In today's world, right in today, we have 55,000 to 60,000 facilities, and the audience might say, well, how do you come up? Where's there that 5,000 unit flush that fluff at? And our business is growing every day. We go for larger quantity companies, and to provide them facility management, and we have about 50 customers that are big quantity customers, and you would know many of the names. Many of them are Fortune 500 companies that we do business with. But you need a product or your own CRM, customer relations management software, and we have that since 2008. We started on an Excel spreadsheet. We went to an Access-based web portal, and we built a product that is our own proprietary software. It's called PVC Connect. Everything around here starts with a PVC, if you haven't noticed. But anyways, that product there is our own proprietary software. So you pretty much cannot work for us unless you have some sort of a smart device. What happens is, just give you an example, is we have one customer that has 6,000 facilities. So when we started the business with them 2010, was that 9 years ago, they came to us. We went to their IT department. We loaded a link onto their web portal with a username and password at every one of their facilities. And as a work order comes up, it goes into PVC Connect. They click on it. It's a 5-step, 3-minute process. You enter the work order. It's 3 drop downs, a little bit of a description, and what is exactly wrong. It goes into PVC Connect. It goes to a team we call them account managers, and the account manager can be 18 people down to 6 people, depending on the size of the customer. And from that system, it takes the work order, and it we have 30,000. That number moves a lot too. Vendors and 51 sales disciplines. So what the sales disciplines mean is that we do phones, we do signs, we do floor care, we do dumpsters, we do the 4 bigs: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, carpentry, and fire sprinkler. We do this in every state in the United States. Our biggest volume of business is in the state of California, and we're based here in Medina, Ohio. We do parking lots, big parking lot jobs. We do many millions of dollars a year in parking lots and concrete work. But that gets vetted by the team. And how you become a approved vendor is we have a vendor relations department, and we have a portal called I'll call it a platform for now because I can't think of the word, but module. I'm sorry. We have a module inside there that's called Vendor Actions, and in Vendor Actions you go to Vendor Wizard, and Vendor Wizard is where you fill out your folio about your company. We measure everything from your hour per we measure everything from your hourly rate for normal working hours. For emergency hours, we are a 24/7, 365 operation. We go down to about 5 people at around 1 in the morning, and that stays that way till about 5 in the morning. We have hotels and hospitals all over the world, all over the United States that we do business with, and they go in and fill out their vendor. We even track EEO requirements for diversity spend, because we have a lot of customers that want to know that we are giving we are an equal opportunity for everyone to work. in our system, and it goes out to they get a purchase order, and we get a response by email that they will be there in 3 hours, 7 hours. If it's not an emergency, we go up to 3 days. But if it's an emergency, we get out there right away, or something we need to see in 8-hour response. We but our people manage that whole process, and then at the end of the job, you take your iPhone, you take a picture of the completion, you check out. We have GPS tracking, so we don't get overbilled. So you arrive there at 9 o'clock, and you check in on your phone through the GPS tracking and through vendor actions. And then in 2 hours, when you're done, you check out, and with GPS tracking, you cannot be more than a half a mile from the facility so we know that everything's accurate and the customer is being treated fairly along as we are. And then it gets automatically paid. We pay our bills in 7 to 10 days. And then we do summary billing to the customer, depending on what the customer requirements are. And so technology is where you manage that, and building a quality team with quality processes that takes the work order from cradle to grave.
Well, that's exactly it. You took the words out of my mouth. You figured out the processes, and be it, no process is perfect, but you've figured out the process and systems that need to grow your organization the way you have. And now, and you mentioned this prior to explaining the kind of nuts and bolts behind it, you've also are looking at this from the other business lines within real estate, property management, real estate brokerage. Just in the last, and this is being recorded in January 2019, just in the last several weeks, you went through the transition to expand your organization by now becoming NAI Pleasant Valley within 2 local markets there. Tell us about the thought process behind that growth and that strategy.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, you're right. This time of world, it's never a perfect world out here, especially when we're all of us that are in the northern part of the United States. A lot of roof leaks now. but anyways, going to the NAI Pleasant Valley. Barbara and I really took a good look at this. At one time, Barbara and I own about 4 million square feet of our own personal real estate, which our family runs. We have office space, we have retail, we have flex space, which we are very, very successful at, knock on wood. And then now we've got almost 300,000 square feet of industrial manufacturing coming out of the ground this year. And that's really key, having that piece to do your own construction, so I don't have to wait for other people. But anyways, at one time in the Akron office, which was the old NAI Cummings, we were one of the largest customers of NAI Cummings, and so we started looking at this, and we want to grow our real estate portfolio, and plus we want the opportunity with our international and national, mostly national footprint that we have with facility management and construction, is that with our customer base that we have, we want to bring new business into the northeastern United States. And we also want to continue to, we have bigger customers come into our properties, and they'll come in and say, hey, we're building 50 facilities across the United States this year, and the first one's going to be at your office building in Akron, Ohio, and then we'd like you to take a look. We do this a lot. This happened 5-6 times in the last year or so. We want to build in Indiana, we want to build in St. Louis, we want to build in Dallas, we want to build. And what I like about the NAI format is that we can bring that ability here by. I like the NAI format. A couple things is that it's not a company-owned office. It's an opportunity for Alec and Barbara and I to pull together here all of our resources and build the brand outside of the northeastern United States by bringing other other businesses to our network, out to the other 300 or so members or 200 members in the United States and abroad. But we want to continue. Our first property we built was in the Cleveland market, and one of the existing shareholders of NAI DOS was Barbara and I did our first deal with him when we were 20 years old, and we're still friends today and still doing business today, and he's still working, helping us in the business with the acquisition from NAI DOS to NAI Plaza Valley. So that's pretty much on that part of the question.
So you feel that this will give you the ability to be able to broaden your business opportunities, plus you can also bring opportunity to the NAI organizations across the network.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I know that some of anybody that's from some of the bigger networks and even the smaller networks, I've met a lot of the NAI member owners, and I'm sure that they'll all be shaking their head. Yes, he is like that, but I want to introduce myself. I'm a networking type person. God gave me that gift to network with people and put deals together and bring businesses together. Just like here in the Cleveland and Akron area. I mean, I'm going to bring deals to the other developers here. It's not going to be just the Pleasant Valley Corporation developments. I'm going to bring deals to other developers and other general contractors, because we can't continue to do it all ourselves. But I want to continue to grow the population here and grow the business in this area. But I just like the network, and NAI Global lets us, they give us a membership, and it's our company owned up. We either swim or sink. And I can guarantee you that we're going to swim. We're going to grow this business to take our share out of the business market from some of the other real estate brokers.
Yeah, that's what's great. I mean, you're looking at this as a two-way street, not just me looking to grow an organization. It's how's best interest for both parties, which is commendable.
Right.
And at the same time, you're going to be coming across, I'm sure if you haven't already, you will, but you've got small business owners that have brokerage firms, and they don't have the resources nor maybe the systems in place that CVC does. How do they team up with an organization like yours to facilitate these services?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think we have an event coming up in St. Louis. I'll be there, and I think you'll get my email address out. You'll get my phone numbers out, and we can talk about communication and that. But we could do business by. I can tell you right now, one of the agents at NAI DOS has already brought us 2 deals, and one company has 300 facilities, and they want to build 50 new medical offices this year. And we met with the owners of that business, and our team did, and we talked about construction and facility management. And one note that everybody needs to know too, even for me to sit here, and we have boots on the ground too. We have boots on the ground in every major city. Might be only one person, but they can go out and do certain programs for us. But you have to be licensed as a general contractor developer in every state in the United States if I give you a purchase order for more than $600. So state of California, I'm sitting here managing the facility. I'm managing I got a facility management work order that I have to replace some plumbing piping for $1,000. I have to be licensed as a real estate developer general contractor in the state of California to issue that purchase order from here to a licensed plumber that's in California. So those are very important things. So we are licensed. If you look at our website at pleasantvalleycorporation.com, you will be able to see that we hold every license. There's a couple, 3 that we're getting this year, and those licenses are all held by my 4 boys and myself. and the 4G2 men of our business, and to do facility management and construction in every one of those states.
Well, that's critical, and that is a key piece. And I think that leads the way, and then also follows with PVC Connect. You've got that system in place, which it would take decades for other firms to develop that, and you've already kind of orchestrated or organized that based on your experience. So having those technology and systems in place are key as well. Wouldn't you agree?
That's correct. I mean, it's taken us, I mean, how many years? We've got about $8 million, and I don't want to talk money on this here, but it's a very expensive process. We drop in our payroll, just in software, we have 9 software developers, and I just did our state of the business address to all 400 of our guests this last week, and it's all about technology, because you're not going to make it in this kind of quantity, in this kind of world, without the technology. I mean, we have our operating software that talks to PVC Connect, and Yardi reports to PVC Connect, and it's called an API, a freeway that goes between all those, and it's all put together. So there's ways that we can also help the agents that are out selling these jobs, that they'll get additional revenues from facility and construction, and also property management. But these are very key part of this whole platform. I think that I'm very excited, to be honest with you, about NAI Global and the relationships that I'm going to form and the services that we can help with. I know many of you guys have these facilities already, these types of offerings already, facility management and construction, but I can pretty much promise you that to the capacity, we're doing 100,000 work orders a year in facility management, and we do them for all the bigs, but we have smalls. We have some 45 facility customers. We play in the retail market, we play in the industrial market, we play in the logistics, restaurants, hotels, hospitality, I guess you would say. But got a big portfolio of a lot of versatility and a lot of experience. We have engineers on staff for parking lots. We do many millions of dollars of parking lots, like I've already said earlier. But we have engineer for energy management. We have engineer on staff for parking lots and concrete, asphalt and concrete. And then we also have a plumbing engineer, and we have like I said, we have an emergency team. You got to be strong in all the verticals, and then we also have an HVAC engineer, chillers, boilers, air handlers. Those are all big parts when you get into bigger buildings. Today we visited a 38-story building that wants us to offer them facility, property management, construction, and real estate brokerage. And the opportunities are out there if you have a platform large enough to take that customer or that tenant that might have a real estate REIT of 50 buildings, and we could onboard the 50 buildings with the 20 tenants per building, and we could make your deal look like a star. And that's a scenario I wanted to go over with you, if we still have time, is that if the real estate agent brings the deal to the table, that deal usually takes, it's called 3 months to 1 year to put together. And some of you guys probably are sitting there smirking when I say 1 year, because some of them take that and longer. It could be a lease, and it could be a sale of a building. So you bring the deal together, and then property management, if we're leasing, once the deal's done, we do property management, and we deal with the tenant issues. And if we're dealing with a third-party owner, we show them, keep track of all their costs on property management allocations. And then there might be some construction in there, and that whole period maybe takes a year and a half. And then from the day the tenant moves in, that's when the real test of value comes alive, is facility management. Because if we do a good job after the space is built out, the tenants move in, if we do a good job from day one when they move in to their onboarding and moving them into the building, till the 3 months before the lease is ready to renew or they're ready to buy a new building, we're going to sign that tenant and bring better revenue to your business or to your customer's bottom line or to your bottom line if you're the owner to renew them again. But you got to do a good job on the facility management, and you also have to have a team effort with your property manager. He or she has to be out there to make sure that they bring value of any tenant conflicts, things that need to be fixed.
Negotiation, yeah.
Yep. So that's my explanation on that part.
Well, it's important. I mean, the point is, if you're managing or at a level of 100 square feet or 100 million, you don't need to be embarrassed or have too big of an ego to collaborate with you, because there's the potential opportunity to learn from each other and to grow businesses even further. So I think that's the overall point that I'm getting from what you're saying, is keeping the open mind to be able to collaborate and grow each other's businesses.
Correct. I mean, procurement, when you're spending this kind of money and doing this kind of dollars, and we have a procurement department here, but what I learned from dealing with all the big customers, the big Fortune 500, 2,000, 5,000, they have a procurement department, and they've held us accountable for cost, for new technologies, better processes, economic savings measures, and they have taught us to where we're at today. That's one thing I have to thank all of our customers for, some of the larger ones. They have put processes in place in our business, or held us accountable for, that's helped our business be one of the better facility managers and construction companies that do business in the United States and in some of Canada.
Perfect. Well, I think this is important, and I know I've got list of questions to go on. As this is such an interesting topic, and it's even more interesting that your holistic approach and different business lines overlapping, and you're putting them all together, kind of figuring it out and looking to grow an organization is key. So I do have a couple other kind of fun questions for you, if you don't mind, before we wrap up. First and foremost, favorite food?
All right, I go to Italy a lot, and so a couple of them. I thought about this a little bit because I did prepare for this kind of a question, but rack of lamb is something I might even have this evening for dinner, and then lambata grigliata. That's the lamb grilled with spicy peppers and garlic. And then my other one is vongole linguine, a linguine with clams. So those are some of my three favorite dinners, with a glass of a good Chianti.
Perfect. Geez, need to go out with you for dinner next time. Have you order and pick the place? That's making my mouth water. All right. So next question, next question. You just won $10 million tax-free. What product type are you investing in today, commercial real estate?
Well, I mean, we all know that it probably is not retail. Right now, the largest height-wise building that I own, but 10 million is not going to quite do it. It's mid-rise, four-story. I like office buildings in downtown areas, but to be honest with you, with 10 million bucks, manufacturing and industrial is lacking in quality space. There's nothing new. They're beat up. They're a lot of money to bring them back to the market. That's where we really do good with our construction company. That's really huge for us in our growth. And we will never buy in the family. We never buy anything that does not have, in this kind of market, because it's so tight and the economy is good. But we're looking for buildings that could, with our construction expertise, bring them up to the quality of product now that's competition, and that has acreage to build on. So those are the kind of properties. But if I found a good deal down, the 10 million is not going to do downtown anywhere. So that you'd have to raise that price on me. But industrial manufacturing, and we do very good at flex space, and flex space is huge for us. I mean, we've got probably 2 million of our property is flex space, and it's higher end at flex space. So, you know, the people that wanted to consolidate back when the economy was and rates were going up, when things were good, consolidated, and we can do an R&D lab, and we can do distribution, and they put their headquarter offices in there. And we have some very high-end buildings that's been very good on the flex market.
Gotcha. And having the construction division helps for what you're talking about.
That is correct.
I definitely get that.
Yep.
Okay. Last question. What do you do outside of this crazy world of real estate? What's one place you'd like to visit? Family activities? You give a quick day in the life or place you'd like to venture to next.
So I did see one thing about what favorite book that I read. I'm a boring person. I don't have sitcoms or anything of that nature. I pretty much do the History Channel, the Food Channel, the Travel Channel, and I only read business books. I always want to read about competitive edges, competitive advantages against my people that are from my competitor friends and abroad. But we do travel to Italy once to twice a year to 3 times sometimes, and you'll find me on the beaches of Naples. We have a home there, and I love going there and relaxing. And Barbara and I are beach bums, and we like the sun, and those are pretty much. And then family. Even though we have, anybody ever comes here, we have all 10 of us work here in the business. We have offices throughout our 83,000 square foot facility where we employ 150 people. And we have dinner together. We go to church together. We go to events, sporting events together, and mostly the family. And then working on our next generation. There's 9 generation 3 that we're working on for succession.
That's awesome. This is all great stuff, and that's what it's about. It's about doing what's right and what's best for the family. So, unfortunately, though, we're out of time here today. Like to thank you for joining us and give the audience some. What's the best way to reach you if they have questions?
So my email address is gfaciana@pvccinc.com. And my direct line is 330-590-8239, and that has a voicemail. I do have a lot of offices across the United States, so I do only have voicemail on that one, but on my cell phone, I do not have voicemail, which you'll all laugh at me, but that's 216-390-6961. I'm very faithful to my caller ID, and you can text me, but that's my direct line at any time. So those are my contacts. And I do thank everybody for anybody that did have the time to listen into this, and I hope to meet all of you. But I've met many NAI members and many customers of NAI, and I look forward to networking across the United States, hopefully bringing more opportunities to NAI Global members.
Perfect. Yes, I'm sure this will be a long-growing relationship. Well, Gino, thank you again for the time. If any of our audience would like to find out more about becoming a new office with NAI Global, please email us at help@naiglobal.com or call us at 609-945-4047. Thank you for listening.